What's good? It's me, J King, aka Coach OG. Shout out to all my OGs, OHG, old head gang, my IQ ballers, and the clamp camp. Yo, I've been doing a lot of replica builds, so I had to go back and start looking at some highlight videos. So I had to, put y'all up on some of these great players. You know what I'm saying? I think some of y'all just not really sure. Some of y'all a little too young to even have seen these players play. Some of y'all just heard, but you got to see. So we're going to look at it together. And we're going to look at one of my favorite players, not one of my favorite players, my absolute favorite player of all time. This is the guy that I idolized growing up. You know what I'm saying? Not quite who I played like. I didn't quite play like him. But it was a guy I idolized, man. Pound for pound, one of the better players ever in the NBA. A lot of players said that if he was just taller, he would just completely dominate because he was already pretty dominant at just 6 feet tall. And that was just his listing height. A lot of people believe he was actually shorter, about 5'9", 5'10". But he was listed at 6 feet. That's right. We talk about my favorite NBA player of all time, Allen Iverson, a.k.a. AI, a.k.a. Bubba Chuck. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. I hope y'all excited, man, because this is my guy, bro. This is my guy. I got the shoes, the all-star jersey, all that. I'm in it. Let's go. Shout out to attention to detail, man. With the put back. Everybody know that one. Everybody know this one. Step over the body like Tyronn Lue. Step over the body like Iverson over Tyronn Lue. Come on. That's a bar. Like a lot of rappers use that as a bar. That's how crazy that is. Everybody knows that moment. Nice. Isaiah Thomas, the original Isaiah Thomas, not Isaiah Thomas as in the 5'9" guard from current generation. Talking about the Isaiah Thomas from back in the day with the Detroit Pistons. He talks about how great Allen Iverson's ball handle was because he revolutionized the ball handle because they were taught to dribble in a box. Even when I was growing up, I was taught to dribble in the box. And Allen Iverson took that to another level. Like, nah, I'm dribbling outside the box. Here, bringing outside the box, which is basically the box is like the inside core area of the body. Like in the general, like if you put a box around yourself, your aura. He would take it outside, yank it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how he takes the ball outside of that box and yanks it. It's like almost like at times it gives you like false hope that you can get it. But he was just so crafty. Oh, they breaking it down. I like this. Shaq said he would try to he would just keep coming at him. I don't feel like 2K did Allen Iverson justice on his numbers, man. I want to do that replica build so bad, but I just don't feel like I can make it good enough. They just won't allow it. And there's certain other numbers that just you can't have it all. And he just a very well-rounded player, great defender, great offensive player, great ball handle. He actually had really good playmaking too. He showed people his playmaking ability a lot later in his career because he didn't have to be the scorer anymore. He was playing with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was a scorer, so he started showing that playmaking ability a lot more when he played with Denver. Even a little more when he played with Memphis too. Look at this. False hope. Bow by the Yankee. What do? He power run you and then bow. And you see how he has a step past you. So you're trying to play catch up and you're running so hard because he's so quick to play catch up and he just snatches you. That's how you do it right there. You push right at that hip area or the gut area as you're moving, and you ain't even got to fully extend because your body is forcing into him in the first place, so it's easier to do. That one's a little more extended. You might have got a call later on that one, but generate that power. You give him just a little bump. You know what I'm saying? A lot of coaches, we teach our guards and players, period, to do stuff like that. You do that, you kind of get away with it by getting a little bump, like a little slight push off. Everybody know about this one too. That was his rookie year. Took MJ out the sneaks. I say the worst crossover he did was against Antonio Daniels, when Antonio Daniels played for the Wizards. And you know how I hate seeing highlights against the Wizards, but he caught that man twice in the same play. Like, he caught him, he failed, touched the ground, tried to get back up, he cut back the other way, and the dude fell and touched the ground again. And Antonio Daniels is a very good defender. During that time. We talk about too that the shoulder shimmy. How you catch people with that shoulder, the shoulder shimmy. That's like the guard's version of the dream shake. I love it. I do. I use it. I used to use it a lot. I still kind of use it. And see how he cuts the ball towards him and not in front. Know that. If you're going to cross the body, just know you cross over in front of the body, you're leaving yourself open for steal. Same thing on 2K. So you cross towards yourself. So you cross back. So you cross in front of yourself, but don't leave it out in the open like that. Don't leave it vulnerable. But sometimes you want to bait it out there. You want to bring it out and then bring it back. So when they reach, bow, now you right past them because they reach so hard thinking they got it, but you're cutting back. Look, that's right over Shaq too. His ability to just finish over people is just crazy for a 6-footer, man. You know, we see it a lot more today with like Kyrie and Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we see a lot more, but you didn't see that a lot then. Extremely athletic player, man. Extremely athletic. This guy could have played football too. He was low-key extremely nice at football. If he wasn't playing basketball, he would have played football. If it wasn't for, you know, that little legal case or whatever he got into, he was actually planning on playing football. See how he extends out on the finish. Kyrie does that a lot too. We see it a lot with Kyrie and Steph Curry. They extend past the opponent. They extend out. They use the body as a shield, so you reach out, because if they go any more across the body, they're gonna foul you. So use your body as the shield. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they put the arm out too. I learned that from Iverson. During that time, like, Iverson was the high-level finisher, and that's what I did a lot. I wasn't a big dunker, although, don't get it twisted, I was able to dunk, but I was a rim grazer, you know what I'm saying? Look at the movement. Man. He's just so crafty, man. And it's crazy how, like, you know, people compare Kyrie to him and stuff like that. And they're comparing, like, John Morant to him and stuff like that. But I feel like you gotta, when you talk about, you know, they're trying to talk about who's better, like, you gotta talk about the era of time, first of all. And you gotta think, those people got their style from Allen Iverson. And Allen Iverson got his style from Tim Hardaway. So you can't compare the originator with the evolution. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be careful about how I say it. I don't want to say it in a way that's demeaning to them. They're the evolution. You know what I'm saying? They're the 2.0. But you don't compare that to the original, because you don't have the 2.0 if you don't have the original. You know what I'm saying? And this man's ability to handle the ball, his ability to finish at the rim, his scoring ability in general, his defense. He's a great defender. You got to think, he took his team to the finals, and he was the only scorer on the team. Now, I say that with no disrespect to the rest of the team, but his team, the reason they got there was because they were a defensive team. The reason they couldn't get over the hump was because they went up against another team that was also good in defense, but he was the only scorer on his team. They had way more scores. They had Shaq and Kobe. And Allen Iverson had himself as the scorer. I mean, they were a really good defensive team. So that's why they got there. You know what I'm saying? They got there because they were a really good defensive team. They say defense wins games. But when you go up against another team that's also good at defense, I mean, that's where you kind of fall short because they're good at defense and they still have offense. And your team lacks an offense. And you're dependent on one player. That's why they always say you can't win a game by yourself. If I tell you, even on 2K, you can't win the game by yourself. You know, people talk about, oh, who's the greatest and all that stuff. You can't win use championships as an example. You're not going to win a championship by yourself. Michael Jordan didn't win all the championships by himself. He even said it. He don't know if he wins those championships without Scottie Pippen. And it wasn't just Scottie Pippen. Yeah, Scottie Pippen, He had Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? Tony Kukoc was a contributor. Steve Kerr. I mean, I can keep going. Yeah, AI's mid-range is crazy. So, okay, one motion shooter. Slight one motion. Mostly one motion. He had kind of a quick trigger too. And he's another one of those people that has a high release too. Oh, when you want to talk about influence when it comes to AI, AI has probably some of the biggest influence out of any player. He has like top 5 biggest influence, top 3, possibly number 1 biggest influence ever in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? You look at a lot of, especially a lot of guards. That's my guy too, John Wall. Jamal Crawford was the other guy to show. I love Jamal Crawford. To me, Jamal Crawford is the best 6th man of all time. Maybe we'll do a video on that. Top 5 6 men of all time. What y'all think? Do a list. Come up with a list. I got 3 off my head already, but I'm gonna wait to the video to talk about it. You already know my number 1. It was Isaiah Thomas. I enjoy these attention details, how they point out stuff, maybe stuff you might not have, really acknowledged about his game. Me, I acknowledge everything about AI's game, man. That's my guy, so of course I acknowledge every piece of his game, man. I studied Allen Iverson, man. But then, studying Allen Iverson is what made me realize the type of player I really was and how I wanted to play versus, the player I loved. I love Allen Iverson, but it wasn't my style of play. But the defensive side is definitely what I probably took to defensive, and the ball handling side is what I took from him the most, and finishing at the rim, because I used to finish at the rim a lot. So yeah, man, that's my goal. If anybody asks me who the GOAT is, that's my GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Who's my personal GOAT? That's my guy. That's my favorite player of all time. To me, he's the best player of all time. I think he would go a lot further if he had a better team. If his general manager was willing to put some pieces around him that actually could score and they knew what they were doing. But they were a great defensive team. They just didn't have enough scoring. They can get there, just couldn't get over the hump. And the Lakers, it was pretty hard to beat Shaq and Kobe. So, but man, I appreciate y'all for always coming through. Let me know who y'all favorite player is, man. Maybe I'll do a video on that player. Let me know who y'all favorite player is in the comments. What do you think about Allen Iverson, man? Do you feel like he's top 5 guards of all time? Do you feel like he's top 5 scorer of all time? Let me know what y'all think about Allen Iverson, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to all my OGs, OHG, Old Head Gang. Shout out to my IQ ballers in the Clamp Camp. I appreciate y'all as always. Don't forget the motto. Don't be toxic. And let's ball.
Never mind who you thought I was.